Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. From time to time I run across products which are steaming turds, and this is one of them. This is a MiBoxer C4-12 cell tester, supposedly. But it's not. Completely false advertising. You could say because it does show you some bogus cell resistance that, okay, yes, that's set testing a cell, and sure, it does show you how much capacity you get when you charge it, but proper cell testing, like say, I don't know, Lease 600, which costs the same amount of money, is charge, discharge, charge. And this doesn't do that. All it does is charge. This is just a convoluted, expensive cell charger, and it's not even all that good anyway, and not worth $50 in any way. So the first thing I did was, when I got it, I started messing with the two buttons, put 4 cells in that are of known good quantities and charged and known capacity, all that kind of stuff, just to see what would happen. And I started messing with the two buttons. So it's pretty easy to figure out what they do. The slot button, you just press it momentarily and you select between the 4 slots to show whatever the status is of that cell. Long press it, and the charger goes into kind of a universal setup mode, and then you can use the mode button to select the current for all 4 channels at the same time. That's pretty much all it does. The mode button, whatever channel you've got selected, you long press it and then you can set the current for that channel. That's pretty much all that does. Yeah, short press the mode button doesn't really do anything. Okay, so here's the manual, and yeah. I guess this does say it correctly. Fully automatic fast charger. That would be accurate. But yeah, the way they're sold on Amazon is completely wrong. This is not a cell tester in any way. And even in fact, right in here, it says, function to measure energy percentage during charging operation. Function to measure battery capacity during charging operation. Nowhere in that set of features right there, of which there's what, like 15 or 20 bullet points, does it say anything about discharging anything. And that's because it doesn't. Yeah. This is just a convoluted, overly expensive charger, and that's all it is. Maybe it can do 3 amps per channel. I don't know, don't care. It doesn't do anything that I care about, like, I don't know, capacity testing and like cell IR. I mean, it says it does IR, but no, it's no better than the Lease 600 for that. But capacity testing, yeah, it's completely useless for that. All you're going to get is whatever cell level was already in there, all the way up to 4.2 volts. You're not going to get actual cell capacity. And when you really come right down to it, the capacity that you care about is how much current over time can I get back out of the cell, not how much can I put into it. That's much less of importance. So like in the case of this Panasonic 18650PF, I did that already, and I know I can get 3,182 milliamp hours of capacity back out of the cell after it's been charged. That's the number that really matters. That's the biggest important number. So yeah, it's not doing what they say it does. And it doesn't really do, other than like say maybe 3 amp charging, which I didn't test because I don't care. That's probably like its big win right there. Alright, so let's talk about IR a little bit, because, well, there's multiple reasons why that sucks. So the first one is like is typical for all this kind of stuff. You know, you have these typical slider mechanisms. I have the springs off. Or, yep, right there. But anyway, you know, those basically just put tension. So essentially what you have is you have one wire, because this is a 2-wire IR tester, which suck anyway, they don't work. So one wire would be here and the other wire would be there, and you basically, you know, start measuring voltage and current across the cell, and then you kind of fake an IR number. The problem with it is multiple and several. First one is these are dull, not sharp. You know, like if you look at the VP4 Plus probes, they have very pointy probe ends on them, so that they can burrow through whatever grunge might be on your cell poles, because it's important. It's a place where you've got something creating resistance that isn't the actual resistance of the cell. The second thing is this whole sliding mechanism. So this little piece right here, whoops, I'm about ready to drop that one out. it has to make mechanical contact, this little metal piece right here. This is all steel with like maybe a thin coat of chrome on it or something, I don't know. You know, something to make it kind of shiny. So grunge, dirt, fingerprints, corrosion, whatever is going to get on here. So mechanical contact between two things that have to do this 11,000 times is going to change dramatically over time. So like brand new, they might work pretty good, maybe, but they don't, but you know, maybe it would. You know, as far as resistance being semi-consistent. But over time, grunge is going to build up. You're going to get a little oxide layer in there. You're going to build some carbon up in there. And before long, the variable resistance between the two mechanical parts sliding against each other is going to be so widely different that it's going to be completely useless. The other thing is this piece of metal right here has resistance in it as well. So if you had a really short cell, say like that long, well, the resistance from here to here is significantly less than from here to here for a much longer cell. And of course, you know, there's no way to tell this thing, hey, by the way, you've got a long cell versus a short cell. So it can't even like internally adjust for that. Not that anybody ever thought that far. So yeah, as far as IR is concerned, completely useless, as equally useless as, like, say, the Lidocala Li 600 or Li 500S is, or the SkyRC MC3000, because they all use the same two-wire sliding mechanism, which is completely useless and unreliable for cell IR testing. Never mind the fact that it's two-wire, and that is also unreliable. Even with really good probes, it's still not worth having. If you want to do cell IR testing, you need to do it like the XTAR VP4 Plus does, which is a proper four-wire cell IR tester. You apply a current and a voltage to a cell, you take the two other sets of wires, which are the measuring side, and you measure what comes back. You measure voltage drop, you measure current, you measure voltage. And you use an AC signal and a DC signal. You pass a DC signal, you pass an AC signal, several things, to finally get a real IR result. And this is all well documented. It's industry standard technology. And this doesn't do any of that. It's just a straight up DC, that's it. Apply a voltage, apply a current, measure a little bit, and kind of guess. And that's about as good as you're going to get. And it doesn't even do that very well. So here are 4 18650 PFs. I can already tell you that they don't have 200 milliohm internal resistance. And yet that's what the worst one was on here. And the best one was 66 milliohms, and I can also tell you none of them are 66 milliohms either. They're all less than that, something like, say, 36 to 40 milliohms. So complete junk, not reliable for IR testing in any way. But that's how two-wire testers are anyway. As far as charging current, could it really do 2 or 3 amps per channel? I'm going to say possibly. And let me grab one of my cheapy Chinese flashlights that somebody said was so awesome. And so you can kind of see down inside there. I can't pull the board out. Let me talk about that first. So I'm going to send this thing back to Amazon because it's $50 and it's a piece of crap. Anyway, in order to get the board up, I got to unsolder all this stuff. And there's thermistors, which are glued down with thermal glue. And then there's all of this stuff right here that I've got to unsolder as well to pull the board. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So all we're going to do is like pry it up a little bit and look underneath. Anyway, right there at the top, right behind the power connector, you can see a large cap. So it's 1,000 microfarad, 16 volts. So that's your input DC ripple rejection. Down a little bit further inside there, you can see, like right over here, you can see a MOSFET, and right behind it you can see an inductor, and yeah, I can't really read the numbers off there. Looks like 33 microhenries on that inductor, so pretty sure that's what that says, so I can't be sure. Down further we've got some more MOSFETs, we've got some smaller filter capacitors. But anyway, pretty lightweight board. Definitely not enough beef in there for discharge, that's for sure. And it doesn't anyway, it's just a charger. On the other side over here, so you can kind of see up inside there. So down inside there, it's kind of showing up on camera. Yeah, there's what looks like an LCD driver. That might also be the brains of this whole thing, because there's really not another chip in here that's kind of big-ish. That would have multiple pins. So I'm thinking that might be like the LCD driver, you know, probably some like PIC processor, but I can definitely see there's no numbers on the top of it. So, you know, whoever built this thing, you know, scrubbed the top of it off. Little ribbon cable going from there back down to the main board. So there's got to be some kind of like a little mux inside that takes the stuff off of this board and sends it up to the other one. Because there is, looks like 6 or 7 conductors in that little ribbon cable that's down in there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see it, I know. Because I can't pull the whole thing away. I'm not going to. Anyway, yeah, that's good enough anyway. Don't care. Because I'm going to tell you, do not buy a MiBoxer C4-12. You're wasting your money on a product that just isn't very good. If all you care about is maybe charging at 3 amps per channel, okay, fine. But the truth of the matter is, you can buy, like, say, I don't know, 1.5, 2 amp chargers for like $11. So you can literally buy 4 of these, or 4 of those for 1 of these, and charge a whole bunch of cells. So yeah, that's its only selling point, is really that it can supposedly charge all 4 channels at 3 amps. Otherwise, nothing here is worth anything. It's not compelling. The Lead-Akala Lead 600, at least that does charge, discharge, charge, like a proper cell tester should do. As far as like the usability of the LCD, I'd say they're very similar. So yeah, for $50, don't buy this. Buy a Lead 600. It's definitely a much better device, and it does real proper cell capacity testing. It doesn't do IR for shit any more than this does, but at least it does capacity testing like it should be done. And this does not. This is just an expensive, convoluted, overpriced charger. That's it. Yeah, don't buy. Piece of crap. Oh, by the way, yeah, I thought this was hilarious. In the Amazon ad for the thing, it says that it's made out of high temperature flame resistant plastic. The entire thing, this is called ABS. Guess what it isn't? Flame retardant or high temperature. It's just, you know, it's cheapy plastic. It's fine for what it does, but yeah, that's just bullshit. Anyway, this is De-bodgery. I hope that helps some folks out. Yeah, just don't buy MiBoxer products. They're crap. If the other MiBoxer products or anything like this one is, all I can say is, yeah, I thought Lead-Akala was bad, but this is worse. Yeah, adios.